A man got a job at a railway gate. When a friend of his came to meet him, the friend joked that, "What kind of job is this, to close and open the gate?" He replied that there is a lot of authority in this job. The friend was surprised and asked, "What authority is there?" He said that, "I will show you now." When the gate was closed, a line of vehicles formed on both sides. The friend was impressed and said that, "Now stop the train that is coming so that more authority can be seen." The man raised the red flag on the arrival of the train. The train stopped. The guard came down and asked why he raised the red flag. He replied that there was no reason, he was just showing his authority to his friend. On this, the guard slapped him hard and walked towards the train. The friend asked that despite having authority, why did he slap you? To this, the man replied that the guard had more authority.
An elderly man walked into a pharmacy and leaned over the counter. He said proudly, "I'm 78 years old. I've been married for 55 years, lived a quiet life. But last night I got intimate with a woman in her early 20s. The pharmacist raised an eyebrow and asked, "Sir, are you here to buy some medicine?" The old man replied, "No." "Do you need advice?" the pharmacist asked. "Nope." "Then why are you telling me this?" The old man grinned and said, "I'm telling everyone." One day, 3 immigrants were sitting in a bar, a Syrian, a Korean, and an American. The Syrian finishes his beer, throws the glass in the air, and shoots it with his gun. As pieces of glass are raining on them, he says, "In Syria, glasses were so cheap that we never drank from the same glass twice." Then the Korean finishes his beer, throws the glass in the air, and shoots it with his gun. Again, as the shattered glass is falling, he says, "In Korea, we had so much sand, we made glasses with the sand, so we never drank from the same glass twice." Finally, the American guy finishes his beer and throws his glass in the air. Before he can say anything, the bartender shoots all 3 of them and says, "We have so many immigrants here in Germany that we don't have to serve them twice." A fisherman carrying a lobster bumped into a friend on the way home. "Where are you going with the lobster under your arm?" asked his friend. The fisherman answered, "I'm taking him home to dinner." Just then, the lobster spoke up, "I've already had my dinner. Can we go to a movie instead?" Mr. Frank arrived for work an hour late. His clothes were torn and tattered. He was banged and bruised, and he even had one arm in a sling. His boss was purple with rage. "It's 10 o'clock, screamed the boss. "You were supposed to be here at 9. What happened?" Mr. Frank replied calmly, "I'm sorry, sir. I fell out of a 10-story window." The boss blinked. "That took you a whole hour?" A crab and a lobster are secretly dating. Pretty soon, the lobster tires of the lying and tells her father, who then forbids her to see the crab anymore. "It'll never work, honey," he says to her. "Crabs walk sideways, and we walk straight." "Please," she begs her father, "just meet him once. I know you'll like him." Her father finally relents and agrees to a one-time meeting, and she runs off to share the good news with her crab sweetie. The crab is so excited he decides to surprise his beloved's family. He practices and practices until he can finally walk straight. On the big day, he walks the entire way to the lobster's house as straight as he can. Standing on the porch and seeing the crab walking towards him, the lobster dad yells to his daughter, "I knew it! Here comes that crab, and he's drunk!" A guy went to a fortune teller just for fun. She stared at his palm for a long time, frowned, and said, "You will soon witness a very tragic death, someone extremely close to you." The guy swallowed hard. "When?" he asked nervously. "Tonight," she replied. The man panicked. He went home early, locked all doors, unplugged appliances, and avoided stairs and mirrors everything. He didn't drink, didn't eat, didn't even sneeze too hard. At midnight, nothing happened. Relieved but exhausted, he finally went to bed. The next morning, his phone rang. It was his boss, yelling like a maniac. "Why the hell didn't you come to work yesterday?" The guy said, I was dealing with something terrible. His boss snapped. "Yeah, well, so was I." The guy asked, "What happened?" The boss shouted, "My damn alarm clock died, the coffee machine blew up, and the stupid intern quit without saving any files. It was a bloody funeral of a day." The guy paused, then whispered to himself, "Oh, that bastard." A big-shot attorney ended up in the hospital for a few days, and he quickly became a nightmare for the staff. He treated the nurses like they were his personal assistants, barking orders and complaining about everything. None of the hospital staff could stand him. But the head nurse, she was the only one who wasn't afraid to put him in his place. One day, she walked into his room with a mission. "I need to take your temperature," she announced. He immediately started grumbling and whining for a solid 5 minutes, but eventually he crossed his arms, opened his mouth, and gave in. "No, sorry," the nurse said. "I can't use an oral thermometer for this reading." More complaints followed, but after a while he rolled over and exposed his backside with a dramatic sigh. Once the thermometer was inserted, the nurse smirked. "I need to get something. You stay just like that until I get back." She left, making sure the door was wide open behind her. The man fumed in embarrassment as people passed by, laughing. 20 minutes later, the doctor came in, looking around with confusion. "What's going on here?" he asked. The attorney, red-faced and frustrated, snapped, "What's the matter, Doc? Never seen someone get their temperature taken?" The doctor paused, then, with a straight face, said, "Not with a daffodil." The man froze. What?" The doctor just shrugged and walked out. The nurse had really outdone herself this time. Little Johnny failed his math test dismally. His mark was so bad that his teacher called home to talk to his father. When he returned home that afternoon, his father was standing crossly in the doorway. "Why did you fail your math test?" he asked. Little Johnny shrugged and said, "My teacher isn't very good." His father was surprised by his excuse and asked Johnny to elaborate. "Well, on Monday, my teacher said 3 plus 5 equals 8. "So?" his father answered. "Then on Tuesday, she told us 4 plus 4 equals 8, and on Wednesday, she said 6 plus 2 equals 8, explained the boy. "If she doesn't know what equals 8, how am I supposed to know the right answer?" A snail was moving along the beach when he happened to look back behind him and saw 3 turtles wearing leather jackets. After moving along for about 4 weeks, the snail looked back again and saw that the 3 turtles were still there and closing in on him, so the snail picked up his pace. After about 6 more weeks, the snail looked back again and saw that the turtles were still chasing him, and they were getting closer and closer, so he kept on rowing as fast as he could. After another few weeks, the turtles finally caught up with the snail and mugged him, took all of his clothes and the keys to his car. After another couple of weeks, the snail got to a payphone and called the police. "I've been mugged by 3 turtles wearing leather jackets. You need to get down here and take a report or do something," he said. "Can you give us a description of the turtles?" asked the police officer. "No, I can't. It all happened too fast," cried the snail. One day, an elderly man named Jimmy was walking down Main Street when he saw his old buddy Bubba driving a brand new pickup. Bubba pulled up to him with a wide grin. "Bubba, where'd you get that truck?" "Mary gave it to me," Bubba replied. "She gave it to you? I knew she was kind of sweet on you, but a new truck?" "Well, Jimmy, let me tell you what happened. We were driving out on County Road 6 in the middle of nowhere. Mary pulled off the road, put the truck in 4-wheel drive, and headed into the woods. She parked the truck, got out, threw off all her clothes, and said, 'Bubba, take whatever you want. So I took the truck. You're a smart man, Bubba. Them clothes would have never fit you.
A man was lying in a hospital bed, hooked up to oxygen, recovering from surgery. A young student nurse came in to give him a partial sponge bath. Through the mask, he mumbled, "Nurse, are my testicles black?" The nurse froze, flustered. "Sir, I'm only assigned to clean your upper body and feet," she said softly. But the man insisted again, "Please, can you check? Are my testicles black?" Worried his anxiety might affect his recovery, she hesitated but decided to help. Gently, she pulled back the covers, lifted his gown, and carefully examined everything. After a thorough check, she said kindly, "Sir, everything looks perfectly normal. No signs of anything wrong." The man slowly lifted his oxygen mask, gave a weak grin, and said, "Thanks, but I was just asking, are my test results back?" Oops.
A stranger drove his car into a ditch in a desolated area. Luckily, a local farmer came to help with his big, strong horse named Buddy. He hitched Buddy up to the car and yelled, "Pull, Nellie, pull!" Buddy didn't move. Then the farmer hollered, "Pull, Buster, pull!" Buddy didn't respond. Once more, the farmer commanded, "Pull, Coco, pull!" Nothing. Then the farmer nonchalantly said, "Pull, Buddy, pull!" and the horse easily dragged the car out of the ditch. The motorist was most appreciative and very curious. He asked the farmer why he called his horse by the wrong name 3 times. Well, Buddy is blind, and if he thought he was the only one pulling, he wouldn't even try. A woman arrived at a party. While scanning the guests, she spotted an attractive man standing alone. She approached him, smiled, and said, "Hello, my name is Carmen." "That's a beautiful name," he replied. "Is it a family name?" "No," she replied. "As a matter of fact, I gave it to myself. It represents the things that I enjoy the most, cars and men. Therefore, I chose Carmen." "What's your name?" she asked. He answered, "B.J. Titzengulf."
The teacher asked the class to use the word fascinate in a sentence. Molly put up her hand and said, "My family went to my granddad's farm, and we all saw his pet sheep. It was fascinating." The teacher said, "That was good, but I wanted you to use the word fascinate, not fascinating." Sally raised her hand. She said, "My family went to see Rock City, and I was fascinated." The teacher said, "Well, that was good, Sally, but I wanted you to use the word fascinate." Little Johnny raised his hand, but the teacher hesitated because she had been burned by Little Johnny before. She finally decided there was no way he could damage the word fascinate, so she called on him. Johnny said, "My Aunt Carolyn has a sweater with 10 buttons, but her tits are so big she can only fasten 8. The teacher sat down and cried.
A man went to the doctor. He said, "Doc, you gotta check my leg. Something's wrong. Just put your ear up to my thigh, you'll hear it." The doctor cautiously placed his ear to the man's thigh only to hear, "Give me $20. I really need $20. "I've never seen or heard anything like this before. How long has this been going on?" the doctor asked. "That's nothing, Doc. Put your ear to my knee." The doctor put his ear to the man's knee and heard it say, "Man, I really need $10. Just lend me $10. "Sir, I really don't know what to tell you. I've never seen anything like this." The doctor was dumbfounded. "Wait, Doc, that's not it. There's more. Just put your ear up to my ankle," the man urged him. The doctor did as the man said and was blown away to hear his ankle plead, "Please, I just need $5. Lend me $5, please, if you can." "I have no idea what to tell you," the doctor said. "There's nothing about it in my books," he said as he frantically searched all his medical reference books. I can make a well-educated guess, though. Based on life and all my previous experience, I can tell you that your leg appears to be broken in 3 places.
A Chinese doctor moved to the U.S. but couldn't land a job at a hospital. So he decided to open his own little clinic and hung a sign outside that read, "Get treatment for $20. If not cured, get $100 back." One day, an American lawyer saw the sign and thought, easy money. So he walked in. Lawyer: "Doc, I've lost my sense of taste." Doctor: "Nurse, bring medicine from box number 22. Put 3 drops in the patient's mouth." Lawyer: "Ugh, that's kerosene." Doctor: "Congrats, your taste is back. That'll be $20. Annoyed but not giving up, the lawyer returned a few days later. Lawyer: "I've lost my memory. I can't remember a thing." Doctor: "Nurse, bring medicine from box number 22 and put 3 drops in his mouth." "Hey, that's kerosene. You gave me this last time." Doctor: "Congrats, your memory's back. That'll be $20. Now, fuming, the lawyer came back one last time, determined to win the $100. "Doc, my eyesight is so bad I can't see a thing." Doctor: "I'm sorry, I don't have any medicine for that. Here's your $100. The doctor handed him a $20 bill. Lawyer, squinting: "Hey, wait, this is only $20, not $100. Doctor: "Congrats, your eyesight's restored. That'll be $20.
Johnny brought home his history test result, which was 90. His father was so happy about it. However, his mother, Karen, just couldn't believe that her son got 90 in history. After taking a closer look at the marks, she noticed that the handwriting styles of the 9 and the 0 are different. "Johnny, you're so busted. Tell me, did you add the 0 to your marks?" "No, Mom, I didn't." "I am asking you once more, did you add that f***ing 0 to your marks?" "Mom, no, I didn't add that 0. "Okay, as you're not telling the truth, you are grounded for 1 month. "Mom, no, please, no, I really didn't add that 0. "This is your last chance, kid. Tell me the truth." "I just added the 9 to it." A woman standing nude in front of a mirror says to her husband, "I look horrible. I feel fat and ugly. Pay me a compliment." Her husband looks at her, smiles mischievously, and replies, "Your eyesight is perfect." With their ailing mother needing constant medical supervision, a family decided to bring her to a very expensive and caring nursing home for a day to try it out. The next morning, the nurses bathed her, fed her a tasty breakfast, and set her in a chair at a window overlooking a lovely flower garden. She seemed okay, but after a while, she slowly started to lean over sideways in her chair. 2 attentive nurses immediately rushed up to catch her and straighten her out. Again, she seemed okay, but after a while, she started to tilt to the other side. The nurses rushed back and once more brought her back upright. This went on all morning, with the dedicated nurses making sure the old woman didn't fall. Later, the family arrived to see how she was adjusting to her new home. "So, Ma, how is it here? Are they treating you all right?" they asked. "It's very nice," she replied, "except they won't let you fart." A swimming pool attendant complains to a man about his son's behavior. "Your son's been peeing in the pool." "So what's the problem? All kids do that." "True, but usually not when standing on the diving board." There was a little old lady who was suffering from a degenerative eye condition that had left her nearly blind. She had 3 sons, and each wanted to prove that he loved her more than the others. Son number 1 bought her an expensive Mercedes with a chauffeur included, thinking this would surely win her approval. Son number 2 bought her a 15-room mansion, thinking this would surely be the best that any of them could offer her. Son number 3 had to do something even better, so he decided to give her his most prized possession, a parrot that he had been training for 15 years to memorize the entire Bible. You could name any verse, and the parrot could quote it word for word. What a gift that would be! Well, the old lady went to the first son and said, "Son, the car is beautiful. It has everything you could ever want on it, but I don't like to go out anymore, and the chauffeur is a nuisance, so please return the car." Then she surprised her second son by saying, "Son, the house is just gorgeous, but it's much for me. I only live in one room, and it's too large to clean and take care of. I really don't need the house, but thank you anyway." Finally, she went to son number 3 and said, "Son, I just want to thank you for your most thoughtful gift. That chicken was delicious."
The 95-year-old woman at the nursing home received a visit from one of her fellow church members. "How are you feeling?" the visitor asked. "Oh," said the lady, "I'm just worried sick." "What are you worried about, dear?" her friend asked. "You look like you're in good health. They are taking care of you, aren't they?" "Yes, they are taking very good care of me." "Are you in any pain?" she asked. "No, I have never had a pain in my life." "Well, what are you worried about?" her friend asked again. The lady leaned back in her rocking chair and slowly explained her major worry. "Every close friend I ever had has already died and gone on to heaven. I'm afraid they're all wondering where I went and why." A man visits his aunt in the nursing home. It turns out that she is taking a nap, so he just sits down in a chair in her room, flips through a few magazines, and munches on some peanuts sitting in a bowl on the table. Eventually, the aunt wakes up, and her nephew realizes he's absent-mindedly finished the entire bowl of peanuts. "I'm so sorry, Auntie, I've eaten all of your peanuts." "That's okay, dearie," the aunt replied. "After I've sucked the chocolate off, I don't care for them anyway."